What's going on, guys? So I'm going to go over the trades of today. It was a very, very nice market today. A lot better price action than we've been having for the past week. If you've been watching my video lessons, then you know that I've been saying that the market was pretty choppy, and you really cannot disagree with that if you look at the stock charts of AXON, especially. That's been one of the biggest runners for the past few days because they had FDA news of I believe it was a Parkinson's drug being approved, but even so, it was a very, very choppy price action and hard to trade. However, today we had a very large 180 flip, and we had amazing price action on TOPS and AETI. So I made around $763 today. I traded AETI, TOPS, and AXON. I had one winner each on AETI and TOPS. Each winner was around $400, and then I had one loser on AXON, and I lost around $90. So all in all, after commissions, grand total of $763. So very, very nice. I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. I could have kept trading throughout the day, but I really did not want to give up my profits, as I did the same thing yesterday where I was up $500, but then when I kept trading the bad price action of AXON, I lost all that profit and was down $90. So I'm sorry I couldn't make a video lesson yesterday, mainly because I was just so busy working on my car, trying to get it back to stock so I can get my new car in the garage. There will be a delivery video coming next week, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. Not going to say what it is yet, but some of you do know. But yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy this video lesson, and if you guys do, please leave a like, leave a subscription, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to get back to you. All right, enjoy the lesson. Alright guys, so here we are on our video lesson for today. The day is June 7th, 2018, up $763 on the day. Very, very, very nice. You can see the price action on TOPS today was very clean, mainly in the morning. It was very gradual and very predictable. If we look at the chart of, say, AXON yesterday, you can clearly see that there's a very clear difference between the price action. You can see this one didn't really have any patterns. It had a flag in the morning and then a double top, and that was kind of it. Everything else all day was just very choppy. It didn't really bounce at any specific points, and it had very fast dips and drops, and that's really what I was worried about, going into today. If we were going to keep having these big red candles that pierce through the 20 EMA and just have these massive sell-offs. So that's really why I did not want to trade AXON today. It did do a very nice U-shaped breakout just at after hours and squeezed up from the 460s up to the 650s. So it was a very nice play. If you held it overnight, you're awesome. Congratulations. I had one member of my chat room. His name is Terry, and he absolutely nailed it. Let me just get a couple of these profits from some students. So here's Daniel G. Paid $130 on AETI. Here's Arthi. He traded AMRH, made 32 cents a share. Very nice. Here's Arthi again. He made almost $0.50 per share on CODX. Jared in 1,000 shares at 393, out at 412, and sold the other half at 406. Awesome trade. Here's Christopher, TOPS, in at 111, out 122. Very awesome, great job. And you can see this over and over. There's a bunch of traders who profited this week. So shout out to you guys, but you're all killing it. I'm glad that you guys are learning from the chat room, and if you want to join the chat room, please click the link down below. There is a free 7-day trial. You can cancel at any time, but you can see all these are TOPS trades that we took together. Here's Mike Malik. He traded TOPS from 112 to 128. And here's Terry Winkles, made 2,000 $70 yesterday and made even more today. So he's killing it on that one. So congrats to all of you guys. I'm glad you guys are learning from the chat. So yeah, so you know, as far as AXON goes, really the best way to play this would have been like trying to buy the dip down off of the after hours highs down near 530. But you know, the hard thing with AXON is because it has such a volatile range, it's really hard to manage your risk. You don't really know exactly when to stop out. And what I was finding when I was doing my dip buys on AXON is that you would really have to have a very large risk tolerance if you want to be able to handle these huge lower wicks. So I decided not to trade this stock overall today. However, once it broke over 607, it was obviously looking like a very good setup since it broke over pre-market highs and the morning highs. So that was a very nice pattern. We've gone over that many times, so I don't need to talk about it right now. What I do want to talk about, however, is TOPS. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with TOPS, but it's a pretty crappy company. Just if you look at the daily chart real fast, you can see that when you zoom out, it says that back in 2014, this stock was like 2.6 million. And, you know, just for anyone who's new, that's not the case. That's not what happened with TOPS. This really weird daily chart is a result of the company doing many reverse splits and lots of dilution. So a way that you can think of this chart is that if you put in, say, like $3 million here on in late 2013, now it's worth $1.22. So it just goes to show on you know, how much they have just reduced the value of their stock by doing really bad financing deals and just constant reverse splits. So obviously the overall trend of this play is down. However, when it gets volume, it squeezes. And this is known with TOPX, or this is known with TOPS, DCIX, HMNY, or not HMNY, DRYS, SHIP, GBR. They're all Greek shipping stocks, so they all kind of do bad financing deals for some reason. So you can see here's DRYS, same exact thing, very distorted chart. And you know, here's SHIP, not as bad, but you can see it's pretty bad when you zoom out. Yeah, no, it's pretty bad. And then what on GBR too, when you zoom out, pretty bad, not as bad, but you can see very clearly that they do some bad financing deals. Anyways, so TOPS, why did it spike today? It had news. Had very good news, actually. Here's they announced a time charter with a large firm that does oil, and they have chartered 2 vessels. So the thing with TOPS is that it's heavily shorted, and you have to kind of understand that. And now looking at the daily chart, you know, what did we have? We had a gap fill right here. So let me just remove all these trend lines. So now we just have the bear picture, and you can see we had a clear gap fill. So above $1.10 was the bottom of the gap, and the top of the gap. This is, you know, not as easy to distinguish. For me personally, I would consider the top of the gap this price action right here, because the true gap is anywhere where there has never been any price action. Some people like to say that the gap is at the very bottom of the day that was prior to the gap down. So in this case, it'd be 152. But to me personally, I believe the gap is from wherever there is no price. So you can see there was price action here down at 131. So the gap, in my opinion, is from 110 to 131. There's also some resistance at 146, so we'll draw that too. And then of course above it at 162. So looking at today's price action, You can see during pre-market, it had a very nice pop up towards that 110 level and then pull back. So that was kind of the major indicator that, okay, this has a potential to squeeze up towards that 110 level on good enough volume. Sure enough, it opens up, it pops up immediately, and it starts testing that 110 level. So if you were going to try and just buy the breakout of 110, you would have been stopped out around 3 times. So that's why I always recommend to buy into the dips, especially when there's a very easy pattern to follow. And in this instance on TOPS, there was a very simple pattern of just buying against the support, which was a VWAP and the 20 EMA. So you could have either bought into this dip down at 96, you could have bought into this dip into 102, or you could have bought into this dip of 104. Now, me personally, the dip that we chose to buy into was the dip down here to $1. So if you're not familiar with penny stocks, or you're just a new trader, one of the most important levels of support and resistance with penny stocks is round numbers, and especially the $1 level. The $1 level is very important because then, you know, the penny stock goes from being just a penny stock to being over $1. It doesn't really mean anything whatsoever, but it's all just has to do with the psychology of traders. So I chose to buy into the dip off of $1 because, one, we had a nice round level of support, and two, we had the very clear bounce off of the VWAP and 20 EMA. Because if we look back at the history in intraday, it was holding the VWAP every time, so it would only make sense to use that same level as your risk. So we bought into there at 101, and this popped up through 113, 114, and then it came back on down. I unfortunately took my profits at around 110 as it was coming down, because I was kind of worried that we were going to have that huge red candle that would just smash through the 20 EMA and continue down like we saw on AXON and the other stocks this week. Sure enough, it did bounce back off of that VWAP level, but I didn't want to chase it, so I waited until we had this nice action that was pushing up against 114, and then I bought the breakout. So I bought the breakout at 114, and you can see very clear difference in volume, and this is really how you know that, okay, this is the actual breakout. So look at the boxed area. This is all consolidation, and look at the volume during this time. Now look at when it broke out right here. You can see very clear difference in volume during the breakout, because what's happening is, like I said earlier, TOPS is a very heavily shorted stock. So every single time it's trying to break over this gap fill of 110, all the shorts are pushing it back on down, pushing it back on down, adding into their short positions. But sure enough, the buying volume was too strong, and then eventually they got squeezed out. So now on the break over 114, you have all the longs who are buying the breakout, like me and my traders, and then all the shorts who are getting squeezed because they were too aggressive on the stock that is having its first green day on news. So now this moves all the way up from 114, hits a high of almost 150. Actually goes to 145. I sold into the 126s, and unfortunately I sold all my shares just because I wanted to lock in my profit and secure my nice wins. What you could have done if you wanted to capitalize on most of this move is you could have just taken partial profits as it was reaching that 131 resistance level, and then you could have raised your stop up to your entry point, because then no matter what, you are at least making some money on this trade. If the dip holds, then of course it's going to break out higher, and then you can take profits into the next squeeze. So I've gone over a bunch of videos on how to take your profits and how to manage risk like that, and if you want to see me do it live every day, then just join my Platinum chat room and you can watch me trade live every single morning. So that's the lesson on TOPS. I believe that's all I have time for right now. I can't go over AETI, But AETI was just like another dip buy. Let me just look at it real fast. AETI was just another dip buy off of this 150 level, and I sold into this pop up to 165. So that was a very nice and easy play, and we've gone over that many times. So just look at your previous levels of support and resistance, and you know, always buy into the weakness and sell into strength and take a profit. So that's the lesson for today, guys. If you guys enjoyed this lesson, please leave a like, comment, and subscription. If you have any questions, you can send me an email, tony@tonyivanov.com. I do have a free ebook. The link is down below. And I also offer a lifetime mentorship program where you get lifetime access to my course, lifetime access to my chat room, and lifetime access to my live stream. It's a very, very awesome value. And the links are all down below. So once again, thank you all so much. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.